that would have been. We believe that ethnicity is critically important, that race is very important, that genetics are very important. We believe that these decisions should be taken, the decisions of government should be taken based upon thoughtful consideration of issues like this. If we had been running America, there would have been no Civil War. I don't think it would have been necessary to fight a war and kill 600,000 people to end slavery. I believe, looking around at the faces in this room, are people who are not haters, but are people who would make sound decisions for the peace and welfare of the world. I think we could have all found a way to end slavery without killing 600,000 people. I think people with good sense can do that. Deranged fanatics can't do that. They can't do it. And selfish people who wanted alien labor so they could use alien labor, slave labor, in competition with free white labor to give some blame to the South, where blame is certainly shared with that of the Northern abolitionists. I think people like us, who are racial idealists, could have solved that problem. And I know that not only from speculating, I know it from reading history. I recently, in preparation of this talk, which was not going to be the way, originally I didn't have this subject in mind, but I was going to speak of something else. And I read a book on Daniel Wild, The Negro in American Civilization. It came out, I think, in the 50s, the 60s. But anyway, it is a book that I recommend to all of you, The Negro in American Civilization. It is full of astonishing information. So one of the most astonishing pieces of information was a letter that Franklin Roosevelt, a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to someone. Thomas Jefferson was very concerned about slavery. Moreover, he was mostly concerned about the presence on America's soil of radically different races in close proximity to each other. And he was not a supporter of slavery, although he owned slaves, which he had inherited. You couldn't get rid of them very easily, and without just unleashing them on society at large. And he wanted, as we would all want, if we had been controlling the country, instead of Charles Sumner and Abraham Lincoln and people like that, we would have done what Jefferson wanted. And what Jefferson started was telling people, this is 30, 40 years before the Civil War, as ex-president, he was writing to people and trying to call people's attention to the dangers that slavery posed. And he could see it coming. If this wasn't solved, it was going to provoke an enormous social catastrophe, like the French Revolution. And he said, the sensible solution to this problem is to compensate Southern slaveholders for the count they have in their slaves, free the slaves, and ship them to a country of their own and give them their own nation. Now that is a sensible and compassionate and reasonable proposal. But it was hooted down by people mainly over money matters. And someone said, well, had attacked Jefferson and said, oh, he's a visionary, that it would cost $800 million to implement Jefferson's solution to the slavery and race problem. $800 million. Can you imagine where we'd be today if $800 million had been invested?